Check the audio. I hope everyone can hear me now. Well, good morning to all. This is Raj at ShareTreck, and I'm looking at the CNBC website. That's where we start usually, and I can see that most of the indices are in the red, mildly red, so they can turn around. But my personal opinion is that it's not going to turn around so easily. It will need a little bit of consolidation, a little bit more down, and then probably back up again. But right now, I'm going to explain why I think we are not going up again anytime soon. The good news out here is Home Depot earnings bit, Wall Street estimates. So as long as the housing sector is looking good, I think the foundation for the market continues to be pretty decent. It's just that the Mag 7 were at very, very high valuations, and we are focusing more on Mag 7. So we are feeling the market action much more acutely than somebody else would if they were not focusing on Mag 7. There are areas of the market which are doing pretty okay, but overall, I think since our domain is AI and genomics, we have to look at the market from that perspective, and that angle looks weak to me even today, this morning. So that said, let's look at some of the new information that we have out here. Bitcoin drops to a 3-month low below 90,000 in risk-off move. Could be a buying opportunity. I'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll go through the Bitcoin chart and see where the next support is. The chart was consolidating a lot, if I recollect. So we'll have to find out the next support level and whether we have fallen below the key support level. That said, let's go down and have a look at the other thing which is going to kick off. Trump says tariff on Canada and Mexico will go forward. So we have reciprocal tariffs, which means every country in the world, whatever they tariff US for, US will tariff them for the same. That is reciprocal tariffs. And then we have separate tariffs on China, which is a tariff on top of the previous tariff, that's around 10%. Then Mexico and Canada, another 25%. So now I have lost count of when each of these was started off. But being a Canadian, I can recollect that, week down the line, we are going to have the deadline for the 1 month since the announcement and subsequent negotiation and agreement that a month will be left alone so that things can be worked out. So Trump has indicated that he's just going ahead with the tariffs. So that particular action will start happening on the market. So that's again another thing which is going to keep pushing down the market. So to me, it seems like the market is like a balloon in a sea, and it wants to keep on coming up, and someone keeps on pushing them down again and again and again. And the market is still trying to come up. When will it stop coming up? That is the big question. And that time seems to be almost on us because we have seen huge drop in the Mag 7, which has been pushing the markets higher. So expect a little bit of consolidation and a little bit of drop. So that's my explanation from the point of view of Mag 7 and genomics. Now that said, I'm going to go into the TradingView platform and let's look at the futures out here. And if we see the charts out here, hey, good morning, Inf. So I'm looking at the chart out here for NASDAQ futures. And what immediately strikes me is that we have a very, very strong resistance out here because the earlier strong support has been broken through and has become a resistance now. So I'm going to color that red. So as you can see, we are on top of the resistance out here and we have fallen below. We are down 0.19%. So I'm thinking that as far as NASDAQ is concerned, the chances of it going up is very difficult today because we have got momentum dropping and getting flat and MACD being very bearish. On top of that, we are mildly negative in the pre-market session. So unless there is some government announcement or something that comes up which can prove a catalyst, I think it's going to be very difficult for NASDAQ. I'm going to extend this line of resistance further so that we have a wedge out here, but there is a silver lining. So this is a bullish pennant out here, and bullish pennants typically break out on the upside. So when is that going to happen? It's up in the air right now as far as I am concerned, but today seems to be distinctly bearish. And then we look at S&P 500 E futures. which are down 0.06% in pre-market. And if you look at 0.06% in pre-market, it's not that much. So I think that from that perspective, in terms of pre-market's position, I do not think that it's going to be bearish. But there are other reasons for S&P 500 to be bearish. That is because we have got a MACD which is very bearish, and momentum has not yet dropped down. RSI is not in oversold territory as such, and it's a bit flat. So a bit of consolidation and a drop down is possible, and our immediate support is 5971.00. And we are still continuing to be within this box in which we have been since the 7th of November or something in 2024. So that's what I see out there. And if you look at the 10-year yield, the 10-year yield has definitely dropped below this diagonal line of resistance. So it's going to continue going down. That, in my opinion, is good for the stock market. But we are not seeing evidence of that as yet in the stock market. So the money is probably going elsewhere. I don't know where it's going, but we'll try to figure out as we proceed with our analysis for the day. Next, let's go on and have a look at genomics because it's a shorter watch list. And the blanket prediction I can say is that genomics is going to be very weak again today because of the overall weakness. But if we go share by share, just going to stop and comment on shares where I have something to say. Otherwise, we'll just skip through them. Verve is going to go down significantly. It has got a long way down, and it's going to go all the way down to this line of support out here. That is my opinion, because RSI is not yet oversold. We have earnings coming up on 26th of February, which is tomorrow. If it comes on time, which it may or may not when it comes to genomic companies, and we don't know whether it's going to be pre-market or post-market. So it's very, very dicey out there, but the trend is generally downwards. Next, we have Ginkgo Bioworks, which I think is going to continue dropping. And then we have Caribou Biosciences, no trades pre-market. It's still in a very bearish channel. And then you look at CRISPR Therapeutics, it's coming down fast and furious. And it had a doji candle with extremely long legs and a very narrow body. That kind of got supported by the, I think, 21-day exponential moving average. So it's still holding on as much as possible. It has got a support out here at 44.58. So I think today 44.58 will provide good support if the 21-day exponential at 45.07 fails. So that's what I would say about CRISPR Therapeutics. And then we have Grail, which is also continuing to fall. It's being supported by the 21-day exponential moving average. Pre-market, it's down 5.01% after gaining 11.22% yesterday. Earnings came and went. Earnings were pretty good in my opinion. So now the market is repricing. It's finding the new price for Grail. And once it does, I think there'll be a little bit of consolidation outside. And then we have Prime, which is flat in pre-market trades, absolutely bullish. Beam Therapeutics is up 2.79% again today. And it has managed to convert this resistance at 30.74 into a support. So this is positive for Beam Therapeutics. We have earnings coming out on the 4th of March. Altimmune is going to report probably today. Let me see. It's on the 27th. So 2 more days to go for Altimmune. I'm waiting for Altimmune to report. Hopefully they have a catalyst out there with pemvidutide. And then I can hope to break this resistance and probably salvage some of my losses out there. But chart is looking very bad. Bluebird Bio, I think this is still an opportunity to do a covered call and gather money as it races towards $3, which is the purchase price from the private equity firm per share. So that is an opportunity. And also there is this gambling opportunity of $6 plus before the end of 2027, provided $600 million worth of sale happens in any consecutive 12 months for Bluebird Bio. So indeed very interesting for gamblers at heart. So that I think there is around 84 cents left to be made out here by shorting Bluebird. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice. But let's look at Allogene, which is down 0.47%, racing towards this diagonal line of resistance, diagonal line of support, which is going to become resistance very soon. Our MACD is getting weaker, and we are being supported by the 21-day exponential, but already below the 200-day, becoming bearish. mRNA also is looking bad. ARCG overall is looking bad. and we have PACB, which is also looking bad. MACD is declining. Momentum is just above average, and pre-market we are down 0.61%. If that persists, then I think PACB will be totally bearish going forward. Intelia is still within the bear channel. Illumina is becoming more and more attractive by the day. I think Illumina is racing towards what we have here as a purchase zone, where it is 90.86 is where I think it will get some support, and at the worst case 89.30. And when we come closer to those ranges, I think I'll get interested in buying Illumina either as calls or as a share. Next, look at IMTX, which is up 1.09% as of Friday, totally cancelling out the previous day's bearishness. But the stock is very weak on the charts overall. Editas, when it went up significantly, I think we have some news out here. No, we don't have any news. So Editas went up for whatever reason, and it's coming down again. Iowa flat. Unicure up 3.66% after a drop of 10.59% yesterday. It's a dead cat bounce because we're at the bottom of all the indications. Vertex is gently moving on the bull channel. So overall, that is good. Now I want to go back and have a look at one of these shares where previously I had seen something really positive. Illumina, Intelia. I can't find it. I'll come back again. Maybe I'll make a separate video for that. Next, let's go on to AI. So we have got Google, which is down 0.27% in pre-market trades. It's already below this zone of support that we had. So it's dropped down significantly. MACD is looking very bad, and momentum has dropped, but it has not become oversold. So there is still potential for Google to go down further. And then we have Tesla, which is up 0.26%. It is still trying to get some support from 328.71, and I think that support will persist for a while until the market opens. And after the market opens, I think it's going to look for support somewhere around the 200-day exponential moving average, which is at around 303.23. That's going to be the next support for Tesla. I'm saying that because MACD is bearish and momentum is also below average, but it's still not in the oversold area. Last time we came to the oversold area at around 30%, we saw a jump back up again. So I think the next jump is going to come closer to the 200-day exponential moving average, and then our resistance will be at 329.03, which we will need to break. So it's a retest. So today we have a retest going on here, and if the retest succeeds, and then for us the resistance will be 346.05, and this will become a double bottom, and then we can project what could be the target, and that could give the support to break through the resistance out here and here. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Tesla. Tesla has always been unpredictable, so it's very difficult to go bearish against Tesla. But on the other hand, if you are looking for bearish signs, then I would say that you can, let me take a marker out here. Where is the marker when I need one? Here you go. So if you were to look at this as a shoulder, this as a head, and this as a shoulder, then probably you would say that it is bearish, but I dare not do that with Tesla, because in the past a lot of bears have been burnt by Tesla. So Tesla is a bit unpredictable, so I'm going to let it go. So let's go on and look at Apple. And Apple is continuing to move upwards. Even in pre-market trade, it's doing that. Overall, Apple chart is looking pretty good, and it's going against the trend. Meta is again down 0.02%. It has still not become oversold, so I think the downtrend will continue, and it is poised to go closer to this diagonal line of support. Hi, Hot Dog. Hi. Good morning. Thanks for joining. And then we have Microsoft. So Microsoft Oh, let me finish off with Meta. So I'm thinking that Meta will continue going down until it has become oversold because of the general market conditions. And this diagonal line of support will turn out to be a real support. And then at that time, we would be oversold and we'll turn back again. So that will be the time to go up. Next, we look at Microsoft. Microsoft is continuing to move downwards. It's down 0.20%. Again, it's not yet oversold. So the chances of it going down further is pretty high because pre-market negative, MACD bearish, momentum below average and moving down further. So this is again saying that we have a support out here which is going to be at around 399.89. So downtrend out there. Amazon, yesterday I bought Amazon bears. It's a ETF which is 1x bearish Amazon. So I bought that and it's shown a decent profit. And the reason I bought that was because I was convinced that Amazon is going to continue going down. Today, in the pre-market session itself, I'm going to sell off the Amazon bear ETF because we are coming close to oversold and the MACD is severely bearish. And I think that we are going to bounce back up again. So probably I'm thinking that there could be a support somewhere out here. Let me just make the line thinner. You may find it a little bit difficult to see. I apologize for that. But this, I think, is a kind of support that we are targeting. So I would prefer to sell before the support because there is no guarantee that we'll always bounce off the support. Sometimes we could go a little bit below, a wick can be formed and we can come up. And sometimes we can bounce off even before we touch the support. So I'm going to sell off my Amazon shorts. Then like this AMZD is out here. So AMZD has done the gap fill that it had to do here. The next gap fill is up here. But I am thinking that that gap fill is not going to happen because we are again here in overbought territory. MACD is super bullish. So that's my logic. Okay, and next let's go on to Nvidia. Nvidia continues being weak. It's down 0.10%. Is it oversold? No, not yet. It's just below average in momentum. People are still thinking what to do with Amazon, with Nvidia. I think the MACD has kind of shrunk and it's going towards the bearish side. Will it go bearish today? It's quite possible that it may go bearish today because the earnings is tomorrow. These are all pre-earnings jitters. And one of the things I would like to see here is this gap fill taking place. So we had the gap come all the way down here. We filled up a little bit on the way up and we have filled up most of it on the way down and also on the way up here. So if I was to look for some kind of a guidance, even though the gap fill has already happened out here, I would say probably Nvidia might come all the way down to 128.88 and then probably consolidate or maybe go up because we are coming very close to the earnings. And many people who sold off thinking that they were very jittery might change their minds and start buying. So post-market, I will again see Nvidia picking up a little bit as we approach the earnings. The earnings are going to be on 26th, that is tomorrow after hours. So we got today and then after market, pre-market and tomorrow. So not much time left. There could be volatility out here. I'm betting on it going either way. And apart from that, I have nothing more to say about Nvidia. I got Qualcomm out here, which is down 0.05% in pre-market trades. And we have MACD, which is bearish, and then we have momentum, which is also dropping, but we have not yet been into the oversold area. So I think there is even more downside for Qualcomm. We have AMD, which is down 0.02%. It's back into the bearishness out here. I'm going to mark this red, and momentum is not that good. So overall, the chart is looking weak. It's going to continue going down. Of course, FNGO, I don't need to talk about that. Broadcom is up 0.58%, but I am thinking that it's going to do the gap fill chart is looking weak. Oracle is down 0.28%, and it's consolidating a little bit out here. The fact that it did not drop down significantly below yesterday's low indicates that we are creating a new higher low. I would like to see this trend continue, and we are still below the 21-day exponential moving average, but above the 200-day exponential. Momentum could also become average very soon. MACD is bearish, so I don't know what to make of Oracle. I think it's struggling to consolidate, build a base, and then go upwards. Palantir is up 2.10% after a big drop. I'm still thinking that it's going to do the gap fill out here, because there is this gap that needs to be filled, and it's not yet oversold, and MACD is very bearish. So dead cat bounce, I think it's a bit premature, so I'm betting that it's going to go down further. Then we have Cloudflare, which is down 0.60%, looking very weak on the charts. And then Adobe, which is down 0.25%, again looking very weak on the charts out here. SMCI is up 3.27%. I'm very tempted to gamble with SMCI, and then I remind myself that my risk profile does not permit me to play around with these things. And I want this year to be a very profitable year. I want to show you guys my portfolio as it starts mending itself. So I'm not taking any more risks. There could be a gap fill happening out here for SMCI. So I'm thinking SMCI has to go down. It's still about 200-day and 21-day exponential. So I'm happy about that. But I'm looking forward to a gap fill out here when the market opens. ARM Holdings is down 0.38%, very weak on the charts. No dead cat bounce as yet. When do you think AMD may be investable? I think we need more information, Joe, from the market. Let's look at Intel and pick up this conversation again. ASML again is looking very weak. It's also going to drop down further today. Let's go to Intel and answer the question from Hot Dog about AMD as well. Now Intel is continuing to fall down, and it had the triple bottom. It met the target and it's coming down. It's racing towards this 21-day exponential moving average, in my opinion. One of the problems for both Intel and AMD, in my opinion, is that NVIDIA has captured the entire data center market, and the only competitors out there are SMCI, and probably you have got ARM Holdings, which is kind of holding the IP rights, and sorry, not SMCI, Broadcom, because it's custom GPUs, custom silicon. So those are the only ones which are competing. And when we looked at AMD earnings, they said that they didn't have data center revenues worth talking about, and neither does IBM. So both of them seem to be stuck with the PC environment, and they don't seem to be making any breakthrough in capturing a market share in the place where lots of money is being dumped, like 80 billion and 50 billion and so on and so forth by big companies like the Mag 5, Mag 7 and other industries. So I think that AMD and Intel will continue being in this kind of a trend until their next earnings. And in the next earnings, if they give us any kind of a hope that they're going to capture a share in the data center market or the infrastructure market, until that happens, I don't think I would see an increase in the price for both of those shares. That is my personal opinion. And I feel that by the time they come to the next quarter, we'll be in a situation where most of the data center spending has already taken place and the data center pie is going to shrink. And that will be the time when NVIDIA will also start coming down, unless they come up with more products and much better and superior products and much better ways of doing stuff. And I'm expecting Microsoft will start ramping up with the quantum chip, because they'll go to the next generation of the quantum chip and they will kind of try to replace NVIDIA out there, or maybe NVIDIA will get into the quantum game. Who knows? So that's the way I am thinking. Guys, you give me your feedback in the comment section so that I can also get informed. Remember, I'm just a retail investor like yourself, and I may not know as much or as much as you guys do. So let us exchange information out here. Then we come to SMH, semiconductor ETF. A semiconductor ETF is mildly positive this morning, but the MACD is already crossing over the signal line. As you can see here, momentum is below average. So unless NVIDIA gives it any support, it's going to go down. So that's what I have there. And AV, is suffering the same fate like Palantir because of costs in the defense department, cost cutting in the defense department. So I'm thinking that I'm a contrarian with regard to AV. I'm thinking that as cost gets cut in the defense department, in order to retain the offensive power, money should go into UAVs and drones, and that's where I think AV is going to continue to shine. Big ticket items like F-35s and other things might probably get a pushback, but I think aircraft carriers and drones might be the ones that would shine in this area. So that's what I'm thinking. I'd like to hear from you guys as well. Snowflake is down 0.04%. I've given up on this cup and handle target. I'm going to leave it out there, but I've given up on it. It's not yet oversold, so we'll wait for the earnings, which will provide a catalyst. Earnings are coming tomorrow after hours. This could also be earnings jitter. That's the only reason why I'm holding on to my target out here, and we'll see what happens when the earnings come in. And then let's go on to Netflix. It's up 0.08%, but chart is looking really bad, and we have a gap fill to be completed, and we have fallen below the 21-day exponential. It's clear as the day that it's going to come down, fill up this gap, and then we'll re-examine what's going to happen with Netflix. Dell is down 0.13%. It has got earnings coming up on the 27th of February, which is 2 days from now. So there's pre-earning jitters. It's already fallen below the 200-day exponential moving average. Downward movement is not very orderly. We have a gap down out here. So I'm thinking that after the earnings, there'll be opportunity for Dell to bounce back depending on what they declare in the earnings. So there is that chance. Accenture continues to fall. Rigetti, Quantum Play, it's down 0.26% in pre-market trades. Still getting the support from 9.86. I still have 200 Rigetti. If it falls below this, then I would probably sell some covered calls at a lower price, assuming this to be a resistance at 9.87, so that I don't lose my shares, and try to salvage some money out of the bad investment. SMR is down 1.57%, and it's touching this diagonal line of support. I think it will stay on this line of support and potentially bounce back up again, because after today's action, I'm seeing that momentum will fall down further, and then we could look forward to a dead cat bounce of this diagonal line of support. That's what I am expecting. So that's about all I have got today, my friends. Is there any particular ticker you want me to look at before I wind up today's live stream? Please let me know, and we'll check that out. But before we go, let me look at currencies, because we want to see what's going to happen with the Bitcoin and crypto. So let's go into currencies, and in currencies, I'm going to look at Bitcoin. So remember, we are looking at the daily chart. So when you look at the day time frame, we have this support that I had drawn here earlier, the minor support. This is going to provide the support today, and as you can see, it has already provided the support because we have a wick bouncing off from here, and this is a resistance for today, 91,487. And we are at 89,000. So once we cross 91,487, I think that will become a support, and we can think of a bounce back, assuming that we have done the validation out here and we are going back up again. Otherwise, I am thinking that this looks very scary to me. It's a inverted double bottom, and if I was to project that, I think we are looking at a lot of drops out here, and the neckline I think is somewhere out here. So if I was to extrapolate that, I think we'll come all the way down. I mean, 73,328 seems a very possible target for Bitcoin if we breach this support out here. So what we want to do with Bitcoin today is to convert this line into a support, which happens to be at 91,487. We are at 89,249. So that's a long way for us to go up. Let us go to the 1 minute time frame, because the market is already open. I'll go to the 5 minute time frame for Bitcoin and see what it looks like in the 5 minute time frame. So as you can see, this dip down here, and then the jump up, and then a move down, and then a move up again. So in a short time frame, this looks pretty good to me. It looks like we are recovering. Our MACD is also recovered, and it has become a little bit bullish, and our momentum is also above average. So things are looking slightly better in the short-term time frame, and we want this to continue good. And I'm going to put a line out here to show various resistance levels that we need to cross. So one of our short-term resistance level happens to be at 89,610 in my opinion, and the next one happens to be at 89,988. We are at 89,314 and we are trying to march upwards. So let's see what happens. And we have the 21-day exponential, which is sitting at around 89,037, which is trying to give us support. So it's a matter of time. And let's look at Ethereum. In the short-term time frame, Ethereum is also looking like it is struggling to stay above the 21-day exponential. MACD is not looking that great. Momentum is also not looking great. So Ethereum seems like it's going to drop if it loses the support of 21-day exponential moving average. And when that happens, I'm thinking that we might probably get a support somewhere out here. This will be the first support that we might get. And if we break down from there, I think it's going to be very difficult. I'll have to revisit this chart again. Now let's go on to a longer time frame, a one-day time frame, and recalibrate the chart. So here we have a support out here which we breached and went back up again. We were pushed back up from this support, and we have got this diagonal line of resistance out here which is going to be performing the role of resistance today, and that I think is going to be at around 2687.14. And we have a diagonal line of support at the bottom out here. So those are all the supports that I can see right now. So let us wait and see what happens with Ethereum, because in a long-term time frame also with a one-day candle, we are still looking bearish out here. MACD is almost on top of the signal line. Momentum is almost coming to be overbought. So I'm not very optimistic about Ethereum out here, but with Bitcoin, I would say that we have some amount of optimism, and hopefully it goes better. So that's about it. Guys, do you have anything else you want to ask? If not, I think I'm going to just check gold before I wind up. Let's look at gold. What is gold doing? Gold is down 0.74%. It is back below. Let me recalibrate the chart. It's back below this line of support. So I'm going to remove this line of support and move it up here and call that the new resistance, because that is more definitive than what we had before. So that's about it. I think the money is, I don't know where the money is going from what we have out there. If you look at our wicks, wicks is going up, so rotation definitely is not taking place as such. Wicks is up 1.27% this morning. It's creeping up towards 20. MACD is bullish, momentum is also picking up. So rising wicks means dropping markets. So that's what we have here. Put call is also benign, as I said before, if I did. And that's it. That's all I have out here, my friends. And with that, I'm going to bring this live stream to an end. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.